Welcome to Extraterrestrial Reality. Today we're going to do another living room episode right here from the couch, and we're going to talk about the beings themselves. Are they good, are they bad, or are they indifferent? I will cut to the chase. I believe that they are indifferent when it comes to the human race. I don't think that they are. I think that they try to take humane steps in an effort to not alarm people. I think that's, we have to say, in a way. That seems to be the situation with these abductions that have happened over the decades. They try to make people forget. Some people consciously remember bits and pieces, and then they seek out help later on, and then they remember the full experience under hypnosis. And there's it was they feel like they were violated because they were taken somewhere against their will, and some medical procedure was conducted on their person by these creatures, and then just set back. Just same way we treat animals in a way, right? I think that these beings probably look at us the same way we look at chimpanzees. I mean, chimpanzees, they have the ability to make their own spears, and they use those spears to, stab inside of a hollow tree to go after bush babies. They probably look at us the same way. They probably look at us the same way we look at an animal that we're interested in tranquilizing and then tagging. That's probably how it is. They don't really, they're not, they don't want to harm us, but they don't want to, they're not here to show us the way or anything like that. They're using us for some reason. So I don't think they're good. I don't think that they're bad. I think that they view us as in an indifferent way. That's how I see it. I mean, I know that there's a lot of different camps out there. There's the Dr. Stephen Greer camp, where these beings are here to, help humanity and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how anybody could say that for sure, to be quite honest with you. And then you have another camp that says, hey, I don't like these creatures. They remind me of insects, and I don't like what they're doing to me. I mean, you read a lot of the abduction literature, and you'll find all kinds of stories like that in there. These people who had to deal with these creatures on a regular basis, they don't like it. They actually want to be crazy. They'd rather be crazy than have this be real, but unfortunately it's real. And, I look back at my own experience from the 70s when I was a little kid. I've talked about this a number of times, and I think now, sometimes I think that they were trying to do me a favor, by, hey, don't do anything, don't get up, and then finally somehow they're able to conk me out, and so I wouldn't remember anything beyond what I already had just experienced. I think that that's probably something that happened there. So yeah, I do believe that they're indifferent to us. I mean, I think they have a purpose here. There's no question about that. But I don't. We could speculate on the purpose, and that purpose has been speculated by many different people in different books. I mean, some people think it's just, they're here to observe us. They're just interested in us. It's interested in this planet, interested in the various life forms, not just us. It's just a scientific kind of exploration for them, and that could be, maybe that is the case for some of them. But it does seem like there is a group that's been here for a long time now. The same group that's been doing medical procedures on people over many, many decades now, right? We talk about them all the time. The short grays, the tall grays, the reptilians, the insectoids, like that little group there. They're the ones that seem to be behind a lot of these abductions that people hate. A lot of people. Now, sometimes you'll hear abduction stories where it seems like the person, the contactee, had a great time, got to fly a spaceship and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what's going on with that. I mean, again, all of this could be just some of it could be fantasy. It could be screen memories that these beings are putting inside people's heads. We just have no idea. But I think the bottom line is that they're indifferent. I don't think that they're here to save humanity. They're using us for some purpose. They view us as useful. Perhaps it's our DNA. They're here to mine our DNA to help themselves in some fashion. Maybe there's something wrong with them, and they need us to help get them back to some level of that where they could survive longer or better. Or who knows? That's all speculation. That's all we could do is speculate. But I do think it's indifference. I think it's more indifference than anything else. I think that, how just same way that there's a lot of people on this planet that look out for animals. The animals have no, if it's not for some people standing up for animals and the treatment of animals, then a lot of animals would suffer. Who knows? All kinds of horrors, and some do. Obviously, there's people that get arrested all the time for mistreating animals, and it's not nice. But I don't think an advanced race is going to come here and deliberately treat intelligent beings like humans in a very evil, harsh way, just for for fun. I mean, I don't think that's the case. There has to be some purpose behind it, scientific purpose, or they might need us for our DNA. But I don't think that any of them are. You could say that they're good or they're bad. I think that they're just indifferent, and that's from my own experience. I think about I didn't get to see that being's face that night. I didn't want to. I did not want to see its face. In fact, I wake up in the middle of the night. I've talked about this story many times, and there's this electronic humming sound, overpowering electronic humming sound. I'm like, what's going on? I'm wondering. And I was sleeping with the blanket over my head, and the light was on just almost above my head. It illuminated the whole room. I'm sleeping on one side. It was in the attic. There's steps in the middle, right? My brother Davey's sleeping on the other side. I'm on the other one side. He's on the other. I wake up and I'm laying down, and I have the blanket over my head, and beside me I could see that there's something standing there. I could see its shadow through this thin blue blanket that I had. It was at the end of the summertime. It was still hot. It was hot up in that attic. And I could see the arm of this creature clearly through the blanket. I could see this thin arm that had 3 digits on the hand. It wasn't like a normal hand whatsoever. It had 3 digits there. The digits were thick at the base, and they came to almost points at the tips. And the hand was getting closer to my face and then further away, closer to my face and further away. Like quickly, it was going like this the whole time. The whole time I'm laying there for 20 minutes, this was what was going on. This hand was getting closer to my face and then further away, closer to my face and further away. And I called out, like, who's there? What's going on? I'm thinking maybe somebody playing a joke on me or something, right? I don't know. It was late at night. It was like probably 1, 2 in the morning. I have no idea, but it had to be late because I woke up, and I woke up to this jackpot situation where there's something in the room here with me, and there's this sound, this unbelievably loud humming sound, like bees or electronic or electronic transformer or something. And meanwhile, there's something standing right by the bed. Right. And looking back at it now, well, before I even get into that. So this thing's standing there and it's going like this right above my head. Right. And I called out to say it was there. No answer. Just the humming just continued. The hand just kept on going like this. I could see it was not human hand. This was definitely not a human hand. And then I was getting really scared, and I peeked out of the blanket. I did not want to look in the direction of this thing. Like, I'm laying this way, and this thing's standing right here, and my brother Davey's on the other side of the room. So I peeked out of the blanket, looked over, and I could see him sleeping. He was facing toward me, and he was sound asleep. And I start yelling in his direction, and he's not waking up. And I start really yelling, he's not waking up. And then I'm really terrified, and that humming sounds somewhat muffling my voice. And I start screaming for my mom and dad, who were right below. Right? Nobody came. And then I just gave up. There's nothing's happening. And meanwhile, there's this thing here, and I just did not want to face this thing. Whatever it was, I was too scared. I was only almost 9. I was about to turn 9 years old at the time. Scared out of my mind. Imagine some kind of a being in your room that's not human. I was thinking it was something from hell. Of course, I've talked about that. I mean, I didn't know at the time. It took me years to realize what happened there. So I start saying my prayers. The thing didn't go away. Right? Still continues to do this, right? The whole time, the humming sound, everything, the works, right? Just went on. This went on for 20 minutes. And then somehow I passed out. I mean, I'm terrified beyond recognition here, right? I'm scared out of my mind. I'm thinking, I don't know what's going to happen here. What's this thing in my room? I don't know. And somehow I passed out. I don't know how that happened. I wake up the next day, it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm looking around. My brother Davey's not even there now at this point. I'm looking around the room. There's nothing there. Told my mom about it. Nobody believed me, of course. Told my dad about it later on. It's just a dream. That's nothing to worry about. All that kind of stuff. I knew it wasn't a dream. There's the difference between a dream and reality, and there's no way that this was a dream. But looking back at that situation, I wonder, was that thing trying to calm me down? Was this saying, hey, don't, just stay where you are. Don't get up. When the hand's moving up and down, like, hey, you don't want to look at this. Yeah, you weren't supposed to wake up. And why don't you just stay there? Don't get up. You don't want to look at my face because it's going to scare the hell out of you. Maybe that's what was going on. See, there could be some, they're in a sense, they care about what they do. But unfortunately for some people, they have recollections of certain bits and pieces of it. Of course, If I wanted to, I could probably get hypnotized, and I probably have, for all I would know, I would probably have a terrifying recall, just like a lot of other people have had. And do I want to do something like that? Do I want to relive a situation like that? I don't think so. And maybe it's, maybe the lesson here is maybe you don't have to. I mean, there's enough people that have already done it. They've already took that path, and what did it get them? It got them. They realize, okay, I'm not crazy. Yeah, but there's alien creatures are real, and they're abducting me at some times in my life. And do you want to remember that? I mean, these beings are giving us, I guess, an option here. Okay, yeah, you might have remembered this little piece here. Do you want to remember the rest? Yeah, you can go to your local UFO researcher, and maybe he'll set you up with a hypnotist, and then you're going to recall this stuff. But do you really want to recall it? I mean, after listening to some of these stories, I mean, these people are, a lot of them. You listen to Whitley Strieber. I mean, he had some terrifying experiences. He wrote about them in Communion when he remembered stuff. Betty and Barney Hill. Do you ever listen to those tapes, the real tapes, right? The tapes where they're talking about, or where they're recalling this stuff. There was a great document, or no, excuse me, not a TV movie made in the 70s, mid 70s, 1975, called The UFO Incident with James Earl Jones actually was in it. He played Barney Hill. It was a really good movie, good documentary. Actually, they're making a new one now. Demi Moore's in it. She's playing Betty Hill. I'm looking forward to that. But didn't sound like they're having a good time when they were recalling these things. I mean, if you suspect, right, that you've been abducted before, or you have some little memories here and there, you might want to know the rest of it. But I think that these beings, one of the reasons they're doing this is so you're not traumatized as much as you would be. I mean, I think if you recall these things, you're going to be traumatized. And we know they're real now. I mean, we've seen the evidence. We have proof now. These creatures there's no question that there's something here. I know there's a bunch of imbeciles out there. I mean, just recently, I want to point out, it seems like I've been getting a lot of traction these days on YouTube with some of the Las Vegas videos that I put out, some of the Vegas podcasts. A lot of people are like, it's opening up some eyes. I've been noticing in the comments, and then every now and then I get a comment from someone who just can't accept this. I mean, there's some people out there, they are definitely not ready. I am telling you right now, there's some people out there completely not ready. Some of them are just trolling, right? I don't know if they're from a Mick West cultist or something. I have no idea. Some of them are trolling, but a lot of them are, some people are coming here and they're finding this stuff and they're looking at the evidence and it's opening up their eyes. This is real. There's something really here, but the question becomes, okay, are they here to harm us? Are they here for evil intentions? Are they out for us? Are they trying to get rid of us? Are they trying to wipe the planet Earth clean of human beings and they're going to replace us? Or are they here to help us? Are they here to enrich humanity and to expand us, to bring us to a better place? I don't know if it's any of that stuff. I think it's just indifference. That's what I think. I think it's all indifference. I don't think that they're concerned that much with our welfare. I think that they have their own reasons for doing the things that they do. There could be some of them. I don't know. Here's the thing: do they operate on a hive mentality? If they're in a hive mentality, then there's only going to be one purpose, one goal, and that's what it seems like. I mean, it seems like from a lot of the research that's been conducted, like by people like David Jacobs, it seems like these beings operate on a hive mentality. They all have one goal and one purpose, and anything else they don't care. Right? They're only concerned about what they're doing. They're not talking about some great future for humanity, right? To abduct these. They're talking about more or less some changes that are going to happen in the future, but nothing, a future that where they don't really talk about human beings, right? So are they trying to change us? Maybe. I don't know what's going on. All we can do is speculate, but I don't know. I just think, here's what I think. I think that we need more researchers out there. We need more scientists studying this. We need to get to the bottom of this. I really believe that. I don't think we've been doing enough. I think it's a sad shame for the cover up, because it's really, by covering this up for so long, there's too many people that should have been studying this, have not studied it, have not taken it seriously. Instead, we got people out there who just think it's silly because they've been brought up this way. and when it's not, and it's real, and there's something here with us. That's just the way it is. Had to recalibrate there. I had to stop the show there, the filming, and pick it back up because I had an interruption here. However, I want to say this. It seems like a lot of the focus by people who are taking this seriously these days, it's been on the objects themselves. There's a lot of focus on the objects themselves, like trying to show people, yeah, there's objects here that we can't explain. Look at all these orbs and what they're doing, these spherical shaped objects. Look what they're doing. There's a lot of the focus on that, and there needs to be a focus on that. What I'm not seeing the focus on is the beings themselves. That's where the focus needs to be. That's the heart of this whole situation. The heart of this situation it begins and ends with the beings themselves. The craft is obviously, if you're an advanced civilization, you're going to have craft that seems fantastic to us, right? At the level of knowledge of where humans are, right? It's going to seem like magic. But we're not focusing on the beings, and we have evidence. We have lots of evidence that shows that these beings are. We're not talking about the beings as much, and I think that that's problematic. Like, I'm looking forward, like I stated in the previous show, I am looking forward to this hearing on Tuesday at 10 a.m. I'm really looking forward to hearing from George Knapp. I want to see what he provides to this House committee, this task force on Tuesday, because he's one of my favorite UFO investigators. I mean, he's a legend, right? But as some people have pointed out in the comments, is that we're probably not going to get anything out of this, and I totally agree. Like I said in that show, I don't think we are going to get a lot out of this. I think we're going to get stories about craft and recoveries, but we're not going to get much about the beings themselves. I mean, to me, that's where it's all at. I mean, what are they here for? What are they doing? That's the story we need here. We need the answer to that one. That's the mystery here. I mean, what's going on? What's their purpose? What's their purpose? We're not focusing on that. We have evidence to show that these creatures are here, that they're real, that these beings are actually real. Again, I do believe that it's very possible that some visitors to this world could just be here. They're just passing by, maybe, just checking us out a little bit and then just moving on their merry way. There are reports of people having encounters with beings that seem like one-offs, or you don't hear about them that often. And then they're here. There was that story from the 1960s with that guy getting a pancake. There was a craft that landed near his house, and so they wanted water, and so he got him a jug of water. They gave him some sort of a container, and he filled it up with water and then gave it back to them, and they handed him some what he called pancakes. He thought they were pancakes, and then he watched this thing fly away. I mean, what was going on there, right? I mean, I don't know. I did a show about that before, so I just think you just don't know. To me, right, there has to be a purpose. The purpose of these grays, of these insectoid creatures, right? What's the purpose? Why are they consistently, decade after decade, abducting people and doing medical procedures on them, usually of a sexual nature? Why is that happening? That's what we need to be talking about. And there have been people out there who have put forth their ideas about why it's happening, but we need more than just a couple of people coming to those conclusions, a couple of experts. We need more people looking into this. But it seems like it's this kind of subject seems like it's frowned upon by a lot of people who are talking about UFOs these days. A lot of the bigger names don't want to talk about the beings as much. They want to focus on the objects. That's it. And I've been saying, doesn't that seem to you? It seems to me that this is what you call slow disclosure. Let's get the public on board with the UFOs first, the objects, and the fact that they're really there and that we don't have any explanation for them, and then we'll tell them about the rest of it. Then we'll move into the other areas. I don't like that. I'm sorry. I want to know more about these beings. I want to know what the government knows about these beings. That's what I want to know. That's the questions we should be talking about. These are the questions that should be getting asked in these congressional hearings. What is the purpose of these beings being here? What has the United States government learned about these beings? Is there anybody? Are there any whistleblowers out there that have any answers with regard to this? Instead, we're just getting we're getting stories about craft and cover-ups, and that's it. We're not getting stories about the purpose of these beings. What are they doing here? That's what I want to know. I'd love to know everything about Roswell. I mean, Roswell is something that happened, folks. You do the research on it. I'm not going to sit here and go through the whole story. You know the basics of it, right? Something crashed. Alien beings were dead alien beings were found along with the crash, and the whole thing was covered up. There it is in a nutshell, but it's a lot deeper than that. There's a lot more to that story. And what does the government have with regard to that? I'd like to see the evidence that they have. There has to be a lot more evidence. There has to be film. There has to be pictures, reports, all kinds of stuff. What do they know about these beings after all these decades? What could they tell us, if anything? I mean, I guess maybe that's the whole thing. They're just not. They don't want to tell us. They don't want to tell us what they know. Is it because there might be, if they tell us, are they concerned about the phenomenon having a reaction? I've heard that one before. Lou Elizondo made a mention of that it's unclear if a disclosure were to happen, a full disclosure, would the phenomenon react in some way? Here's the thing: it's already disclosed. There's enough evidence out there for everyone to know. It's just people need to just educate themselves on this. There should be no excuse at this point. You don't rely on governments to tell you the truth. Do your own research. Like I always say, there's a lot of good books out there, right? I have a lot of them in the description. Check them out. Or books by Richard Dolan. Just go on Amazon and look for Richard Dolan. Books about called UFOs and the National Security State. Look up those books. There's a lot of really good books out there that informs us on this, educates on this situation. However, I want to see at this point, we have enough evidence in the public domain that informs us that, okay, this is a real phenomenon, but yet we're getting gaslit by the people in our government still, even though there's evidence out here that says, what are you talking? I mean, I'd love to be in one of these hearings and make a presentation and say, you know what? Look at this, and this. I could make a presentation on the Vegas aliens, and there's no to this point, after all this time, right? No one's debunked it. No one's tried to debunk it outside of calling names. That's it. I mean, I've received, like Mick West, he continues to lie about this. People just lie about it. Or they just ignore it. They don't even mention it. Why? Why? Because they can do about it. That's why, recently I'm getting a lot of comments on some of these, and some people are finding these shows where I talked about that case, and they're starting to see it's opening up their eyes. Of some people, they can't take it, and so some people aren't ready. I get it. What are you going to do? That's how people are. Some people just aren't ready. They're not mentally capable of handling certain kinds of information. But the bottom line is, the people here with the big boy pants on, we need to handle this, right? We need to get the government, or we need to get the people that we elect to start giving us some answers with regard not just to the UFOs themselves, but to the beings. We want to know, what does the government know about these visitors? Are they visitors? Were they here the whole time? What do you know about it? That's what I want to know. These are the kinds of questions that need to start getting asked. Are they indifferent, like I'm saying? They're not really good. They're not really bad. They're just here, and they're here for their own purposes, and they don't really care about the human race. Does the government know? Could they provide an answer with regard to that? These are the kinds of questions I have, and these are the kinds of, I want answers to these kinds of questions from the government. If the government's going to provide anything, acknowledging that there's whistleblowers who have seen UFOs, and they're told not to say anything about it. There's whistleblowers who have been exposed to documents that most clearly lay out that there's a cover up and that this is a real phenomenon. Yeah, that's great, but we need more than this. We're just spinning our wheels here. That's what it seems like. And again, the reasoning could be, like I've been saying recently, is because this is what slow disclosure looks like. They'll just keep it in the public consciousness for a period of time, and then take another step, another baby step in a year or two or something, or 5 years from now, or whatever. This is what you call baby steps. They're basically spoon feeding the public, like baby with a baby spoon. Here, take another bite now. Take another bite now, you moron. We're smart enough to handle it, but you're not. So take another bite. That's what it seems like to me. Anyway, I want to say this. I want to say thank you all for joining me today. Until next time.